Thank you all for coming today. This is a special call meeting to discuss our fire department fire report and to allow our chief to talk about his report and for him to tell us what is expected or what is necessary for him to file his report. Have the agenda in front of these gentlemen. Roll call.
Alderman Chapman, Alderman Bradford, Alderman Wilson,
Present.
Alderman Dubose,
Present.
Alderman Bastro,
Present.
Alderman Chastain, Alderman Lynn.
Here.
And we have a
Thank you. I thought I saw on Chestnut. Yeah, he is.
I did too.
I know he was traveling back here.
No, he said,
Oh, he is here.
yeah, we walked. All right, we have a forum, so, gentlemen, you have the agenda in front of these. Here's, the main agenda item 2.1 to discuss the road report, Lost Point Fire Department personnel. Can I get a motion to accept the agenda as printed?
So move. Second.
Both of Alderman Leonard, the second Alderman Wilson, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Judge, I think I'm in order, just like the chief, would you come? And, if you come and just give us kind of a synopsis on what you're looking for and what is expected in the report, that you need to get it all to the fire, to the rating dealer.
Okay.
And before you start, Chief, Chris and Amber.
Yes. What we have is, Chief, just so you know, the two people on the phone is our financial consultants that we have working for us now.
Oh,
They're there for me to make any comments that they need to make as we go through this discussion.
okay. Just so you know, I didn't bother them. I'm in here with them, they just showed up, so I don't know if they can. But I'm pretty sure. But, so, you know, the Navy Bureau came in, March, and they're, and y'all read the letter. So if we don't make a few changes, we're gonna go to a rating of 6. We're not too far from it, so I don't believe it's gonna take too much to get us there. One of the main issues was manpower. Another one was our training and documentation, mostly the documentation. Somehow our hard copies disappeared. I'm not even gonna get into what I think happened to them, but fact of the matter is they disappeared, so we weren't able to prove that we did the training. A little bit of it was, not much, was hydrant maintenance. I'm not sure if the documentation wasn't there or not, but listening to Mr. Richard Watkins, he gave me a few pointers on to what we need to get to keep our rating of 5. And one of them was manpower, fire inspector / training officer. Have y'all got y'all's? I think it ended up with a 47.06 is are the points that we got, and we needed to make it to a 49, well, to a 50. So when I asked him how many points we would get per person, and his answer was if each person would count as 0.67 points per personnel. So if we hired 3 personnel, that would give us a little over 2 points. If we were to hire an inspector / investigator, we could get a little bit more from him or her. And if we were to put the ladder truck in service, we'd get a little bit more points. I don't have the points for what that would be. He didn't go over that with me. All I got were the points for 0.67 per person. So basically, we need to, at the very least, in my opinion, hire 3 more people, put into the budget for the department. 3 more people, 1 per shift. Or if y'all want to open up station 2, I gave y'all some options there to look at and see what work against how much they would cost. So it's basically that's, of course, that's all your decision. And, I'm here to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, gentlemen, you have a copy of this report that he started, showed out to the bureau was here. Hope that you have a chance to read over that. Key thing is now is that he have to have something to put in his report so that the city is willing to make towards the efforts in which he discussed, mainly the 3 officers, and that's without talking about opening up Dr. Ruben Morris building. Right now, the urgency is whether we can afford to hire 3 officers this coming cycle.
Yes, sir. So we have to respond to the rating bureau within a certain amount of time. And then once we give him a plan, and I have to turn that plan into him for him to approve it. And then he'll give us another 6 months, possibly a year. And then after the budget year, he will come in and assess the situation and decide whether or not to give us a rating at 5, 4, 5, or 6. So we have some time. But basically, I need to turn a plan into him as to what we're going to do. And I could not just tell him that we were going to hire 3 more people, or we were going to do this, because that's y'all's decision, not mine. I can't just make things up and tell him that. So the plan has to come from y'all. There are things that I could do, such as training, and maintenance to our trucks, make sure that they are up to speed, and we have our annual testing on our pumpers, hose testing, all that sort of thing. But so far as anything else, that's going to be obviously up to y'all. But we just have to have a plan on how to keep our rating at a 5. And I have to give that to him sometime this month.
Yeah, the purpose of this meeting is because we asked for an extension in order to have this meeting. So the purpose of this meeting is to give the chief our assessment of what the plan is going to be, that he can present this to the state rating board. So the purpose of this meeting today is what is our commitment to the fire department for this coming budget cycle. We open for discussion.
Question. So Chief, you have to have these 3 people to keep your ratings up, right?
In order to get over, there's a lot of things that you have to change. As Mr. Watkins put it, and I asked him, I said, if we hire 3 more people, that gives us a little over 2 points. That's 1 per shift. And we do all of our training. And we hired a fire inspector / training officer. Could we get to that 50? He said, you can probably get to that 50, but it's a dangerous 50. That's what he told me. I said, well, as long as it's a 50, I'm good with it. As long as we can get to that 50. So in order to do that, there are things that we have to do. And, I don't see any path short of hiring at least 3 people. Obviously, I would like to hire a lot more, but
3.
Yes, sir.
So that's what you asking us today.
Yes, sir. If y'all commit to, I just have to have a plan so I can send to
Gotcha.
on what y'all's commitment would be. I can say that y'all agreed to do this.
Right. So you don't want to answer something without our approval, right?
Yes, sir. I can't put words into y'all's mouths.
Gotcha.
Chief, do you have the numbers of what the budget dollar figure would be fully loaded for 3 additional?
Yes, sir. I gave it to each of y'all in there.
Yeah, it's
Those are- I went by the information that I got, and if anybody doesn't have it, we have a copy of it. If you look at option 5, I think, with the 3, that was 9 per shift. With 3 stations open.
So Chief, I'm looking at like your water supply.
Mhm.
Right. So we looking at almost half points that can come with improvement of water supply. Is that what I'm reading?
If we can make any improvements with the water supply, that would be great. I don't know, we would have to get with, Mr. Russell for that.
Okay.
And figure out how to do that, because I don't know enough about the water supply.
Well, the reason why I'm saying that, I'm looking at the gaps in numbers, what we actual and what we can do to put up that process. Or is making some things without causing a serious burden of longevity. When you hiring somebody, that's year after year after year after year. Some maintenance you can do that doesn't require but a simple injection and kind of put ourselves on pace a little bit better. So
Like everybody.
I'm sorry. Okay. All right, so what I was asking about is the water supply. And just different things other than personnel right now, other than personnel to discuss to make up where we need to be in points and where we need to be in score and all of these particular things that the Ratings Bureau also considers factors. So, that's why I was looking at where we are actual in that just improvement of the water supply side. And you did, I think, request that, somebody from Clearwater be here to see where we can be to make those improvements as well. So, I just see where we are at a 21.73, and I think 40 is, so we got room in that to improve. And so I'm just thinking that, some of the maintenance side of it. Now, I know we definitely need manpower. There's no question, but I know the longevity side of that causes a major stress in where we're trying to be at this point. I was just asking whether there's ideas on trying to improve the water supply side.
Yeah, we would have to get Clearwater and ask them all these questions, because I just don't know enough about all that to give you a good answer. There may be some improvement the water supply can do, but I know the 40 is based on, all the points are based on a perfect system.
Right.
I'll give you a class 1, which nobody had. I think there may be one city or one entity in Mississippi that has a.
Well, and I say that in the same sense too with manpower. Now, a lot of people can have what we desire to have, and then there's actual stuff that we know that any city in the Delta, any city in Mississippi won't ever be NFPA standard.
Oh, yeah. It might. I've got no question about it.
Right. So, there are those things that we say, it's good guidelines to keep, but.
NFPA recommends that 15 people be on scene at a single story structure fire.
Right.
Obviously, we're not going to meet them, but all I'm asking for is to happen.
Right. I got you.
So
Chief,
that's not per shift. And so that's allowing time off. So it's going to be less than that.
I got you.
Chief, I just had a couple questions.
Yes, sir.
When we talk about that scale or points anyway, is it comparable to like 1 to 100 in as far as comparison? So being at a 46, does that put us at like failing?
Yes. The point system it's there. I think y'all have a copy of that too. I sent y'all. 40.99 is class 6. 50 to 50.99 is a class 6. Doesn't matter. I mean, it's class 5. Doesn't matter where you fall in that. It doesn't matter if you got 50.8 or if you got 59.98. You're still in class 5.
Okay.
So,
And then my second question, just to make sure I'm following you correctly. Option 5, personnel, and it would be for all 3 of them. 175 is about right. Total cost,
that sounds right. Yes.
averaging about 58.33 for each one.
Let's say you're talking about
The cost per firefighter.
the cost from what I can tell and the information I've gotten, you would have to include all of their benefits and everything, and I think it was somewhere around the neighborhood of somewhere between, how much, like 70 and 90,000 per person, I think, is that right?
I'm sorry, I was,
How much does one firefighter cost? About
It
70?
was a little over 50, was it more than that?
Because the increase is only showing for 175 for all three. Okay, my last question, it'd be more so towards our ladies on the phone about where we are, cost, that's being able to afford it budget wise, to be able to make that accommodation.
I may have added, 60,000 per person, I don't remember, I just went by an average of what the lowest paid firefighter and the highest paid firefighter was, so, because I didn't have any really, percentage. But that was just a rough estimate.
Yes, sir.
Chief, thank you. I think that's smart to get in, take an average, so you're not basing it on the absolute lowest amount. So we have a reasonable goal to shoot for. So I would think 175 for three sounds about right based on, I just can't remember the exact number that we discussed in our previous meeting. But you said if we hire three people, that's one per shift. Is that counting the training officer, or are you assuming that would be a fourth person, the training and inspections?
That would be somebody that was extra. Because that's the reason why I put on y'all's options with the training officer / inspector. We're not.
Okay, I just want to make sure when you said one per shift, I didn't think that meant.
Training officer, that's on duty person.
Gotcha. So really what we really need is four, I would think, because we need that training and inspection person. That was, to me, that was a requirement, or for lack of a better term, that he put on us that was more than just numbers. It was position that needs to be filled. It's that work that needs to be done, the training.
Yes. Yes.
So we really need to try to shoot for 3 firefighters and a training person.
What else?
Now, I saw in there where it mentioned, well, let me back up. We were talking about trying to get Station 2 open back up, which automatically means at least 2 people.
At least 6.
Well, I meant per shift. Yeah.
Two per shift.
Yeah. He also mentioned in there about fully supplying a ladder company at Station 4. So right now we just keeping one person up there.
At times when we're at our low, which minimum staffing is now 6.
Gotcha.
And, so they did not, when the rating bureau came in, they did not even take into consideration for the ladder truck because of the fact that they knew it wasn't planned.
But they did mention it in that, what I put it.
We got 0.17% of a point, just for the fact that we had a ladder truck. But if we had staffed, then it would give us the points to have a ladder truck in service. Now, a staffed ladder truck would be at least 2 people on it.
Okay. If we wanted to do both, we're talking a few more people actually.
Yes.
And I remember when we had 11, I think, Scotty, way back, and it seems like that was just the promised land when you compare to what we're having to live with now,
But we did get points for our ladder trucks. We had 2 people up there, and we had enough people that we could justify the fact that we could say our ladder truck
Sure.
is service.
Sure.
Now that we're so low staffed, they don't even, he said he didn't even consider.
And last question for now, the training officer / inspector could be one position, because I read in there that they prefer that they be separated, but they could be combined. Okay.
But they can't be combined.
is that what we were using Roland
Yes,
for? He had to do,
inspection / training.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. What is the difference in the rating? From 6 to a 5?
I am not sure how that correlates to how much
How
more,
much more they pay?
but I'm thinking it would be about. I tried to look it up and I ran out of time when I got involved with something else, so I'm really not sure. I don't even want to answer this.
If you find out, just let me know.
Okay.
Okay.
You know somebody in the insurance business?
I can give him a call.
Yeah, he probably can help you out.
Yeah.
Chief,
Yes, sir.
the role of a training officer, how often would he be training?
3 to 5 days a week.
3 to 5 days a week. This is, every week.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because, what I was thinking was, I didn't know how often that you did training, that maybe that could be contracted out. You know, you set a certain time for training and contract that out to another, from somebody from another fire department.
No, I don't think that would ever work. I haven't heard of that.
Okay,
It's something I can look into, but, the fact that for whoever comes over to train us want to get compensated for it, so.
of course they want to be compensated, but would that be cheaper than hire somebody full time?
I don't think this would be a full-time position.
Mm-hmm.
So whoever, if you come from another department, not only would they have to do theirs, they would have to do ours.
Okay.
I just don't think it would be, I don't think we'd be able to find anybody.
Not even somebody who's retired and maybe able to pull them out of retirement for that purpose?
I can look into it
Mm-hmm.
and see. I'm not sure, because not only do they have to train, they have to document it as well.
I have no idea how fire department, how it works. I
I'm
just
saying, yes,
wasn't a question out there.
yeah, gotcha.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Speaking to that, I hadn't thought of that. You mentioned it, but the folks that run the airport, would they offer that type of contract service possibly? A training and instruction?
I'm not sure. I know they have a site that the company pays for. I'm not sure how much they pay for that, but we have to do training at the airport.
What's the name of that company up there?
Protect
Protect.
Fire Service. Check and see what site they use,
Sweet.
see how much they charge. The county uses somebody else. I would imagine it's a pretty good bit of money. But I know Protect, they have fire stations throughout, United States and Canada. So they probably pay a rate for all these, if I were to go out. I may be piggybacking off of, Jackson County, training, get on their site. I could probably ask, Randy there, he's from the county, he knows all about it. And, so it's something I could look into, but the fact is, we still, even though we would still be doing it ourselves, the battalion chiefs right now have taken a role on each of their shift that's trained. So we are doing the training, and we are documenting it. That's one thing we did start last month. So we're doing the training and we're documenting it, but just won't get the points for our training officer.
You won't get the credit unless you have that person.
Okay.
We're trying to keep our rating as it is. With the 5,
Yes, ma'am.
as it is.
Yes, ma'am.
And of course, if it goes lower, then it will increase.
Right.
So to constitute a training officer, is that company officer certification, that particular, everybody need to be company officer, or how does training officer work for us to be dedicated as a training officer? Or does that float in the ranks of shift, or however we're gonna do it?
We had a training officer, it would not matter what rank they were at.
Mm.
It wouldn't matter, so far as I know, it doesn't matter what certifications they have, as long as they have 1001 and instructor. Anything other than that, I'm not real sure. I don't think so. As long as the position is there and the training is getting done and documented, I think that's good. I think we can get the points. That makes sense.
Okay, I mean, well, that doesn't require a dedicated training officer. All we talking about is documentation.
Well, the training officer would would make sure all 3 shifts,
Mm.
and they would also do the documentation
Okay,
in the computer, and he would be designated the training officer. And we would give points through the rating bureau for that position. So he could be a training officer / inspector. So we would get points for the inspector, points for the officer, plus we would get points for the training. Documentation would be done. And he would also count as 0.33 as, personnel on duty. Because any officer that is there 8 hours a day gets 0.3. So if you have let's say you have a chief, a training officer slash inspector and a deputy chief, you would get 0.33 for all those, which helps the manpower. They come in and add up all the average of the manpower throughout the year.
You have the questions? I want to ask the consultants on the line to give us their assessment on. You had a,
Instructor one can teach the pre-read courses. Instructor two can write his own material to teach. Three and four go to training the trainers. You can teach anything as an instructor one, and you can start to your own problems, write your own programs as an instructor two.
Mayor, it just, you did authorize the chief to submit an application that would assist with, personnel.
Yes.
The deadline for that is to submit is the 15th, right?
I think it was 18.
It's still on the weekend, right? I think so, but it's coming up within a week or so.
Yes.
And so working with documentation for submission of that application. Don't know if we get approved before the budget is adopted or not. Yeah, I mean, this is famous, so it's.
They normally announce those awards in September.
Yeah. So, and we adopt the 15th, so, that's.
So I've got to get on the ball with Mr. Tanya.
But we can, I mean, if we got it though, that would.
Take care of the two positions. But they only cover 100% for the first year.
Yeah.
And then I think it's 75% for the next 2 years. And then after that, so.
That would be a huge help.
Yes.
And give us time to continually build and get him the people that he needs.
Yes, ma'am. It's called a safer grant. You know, that's what I'm trying to get after.
Yeah.
I started a little late, so I apologize, but this is all kind of new to me. And I knew it was coming up, and then when I checked on it, we're actually a week or two behind. So
Yeah.
they only do it for a month.
Yeah, but we're working on it now.
Mayor,
we're gonna,
Mr. Said the clerk just handed me the salary schedule. It does look like the minimum fully loaded for firefighters 50, I'm rounding.
50.
And the high end is 55 fully loaded per person. So you are talking pretty close to what you said. Yeah.
And then Wayne, how much is it for the inspector slash trainer?
Got to get my other glasses.
I did my math right, about 90K fully loaded.
I don't, it's lined through vacant. It doesn't have an amount there.
It's taken out of the budget.
They took it out. So we don't, I guess we need to figure out what we want to offer for that.
Yeah,
Would that be a lieutenant level?
probably, yes.
Okay, so you could, so it looks like what the bottom lieutenant's 62. Total fully loaded at the low end is 62, at the high end is what, 75, something like that,
You know,
79 maybe. So
So, can I ask a question?
Yes,
It's Kristen. So we're currently at a rating of 5, looking at potentially being downgraded, although the number goes up, right, to a 6. Is that correct?
that's right.
Okay. And we do not know what the cost differential is on the insurance between a 5 and a 6 rating, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And you were waiting on Clearwater to give you a cost estimate on increasing your water accessibility for non-firefighter words. Is that correct?
I didn't follow that.
You're waiting on Clearwater to give us a cost estimate on what you need done to increase your water accessibility or
I haven't talked to them about it. Like I said, I don't know enough about the water department side of it. I can get with them and see if we can make any improvements. I've been working on other stuff, so I haven't, that wasn't, one of the things I was pursuing, but I can check and see, what Mr. Davis said about it.
okay, and to get your ladder truck in whatever order, like I'm not a firefighter, so excuse me, in whatever order this report requires it to be in for you to get additional points, is that manpower or just maintenance?
To put the ladder, because of the high building, it's called a tall building. And, when the wrecking bureau comes in, we have a tall building workshop, tall building worksheet that you have to fill out, or you will fill out. And it shows all the tall buildings. And tall buildings are considered anything 3-story and above or 32 foot to the E. And so you have to have a ladder truck, supply an insurance for that purpose. So if we don't have the personnel to staff that ladder truck, then that will hurt us so far as the wrecking bureau.
But does the ladder truck turn over? Does it start? Does the ladder go up to 3 stories and you just need men? Or like, does it not have a carburetor?
You just need to line that in service, or do you need it in service and manned? There's other problems with the maintenance side. Is there a need there?
Yeah, because what I'm asking is trying to make up point gaps in stuff that doesn't require manpower, such
Right.
as.
That's what I'm asking. So does a ladder
And so
truck,
that's been what I've been trying to get at, like the water supply side and points. How do we improve on that water supply side? So in the community risk reduction, certain things like far as fire education, all these other training situations, how we can close these voids without creating a dead side just yet. Then we can have a discussion on manpower. But if we can close a lot of these gaps in points, just dealing with some of the finite stuff of equipment, like she's asking about, whether it's a carburetor issue or is it a man in a working apparatus. So what we wanted to make sure is if it's just the apparatus side, and then, whenever we need to call it into service, we can keep it moving. Whenever we need to deploy resources to operate the apparatus. So what I'm asking is, where do we close these voids in community risk, in water supply, in all the other elements besides getting into a heartbeat? So I'm trying to make sure that we cover those bases before we start discussing something that's really going to create an issue up until we get to a point like you guys have talked about getting this grant and covering it for so long.
Giving that inspector, the opposing the buildings, all of that kind of things. Being able to.
Let me give you an example. Like, so here there is credit for training. We got 0.25. Optimum, I think, is 9.
That's it, we did.
So, but of course, we there to train and to document training. To close that gap should be easy. The pencil will down on training. Right, so that'll close a lot of points.
It does help, I'm not sure everything.
Okay.
So,
I don't want to discredit, I know we need manpower, and I believe everybody on this panel understand that we need manpower. But I'm saying that all the reason we got financial people on the line is because we're in that budget constraint side. And so we got to be realistic on that side too. So where we can close these gaps, you know, in areas which we can kind of control a little bit and doesn't have to cause a long-term problem. It can be injected really quick. Something can be implemented without a whole lot of cost, and we can still maintain what we got as 5. And that's where I'm trying to figure out where we play in the game.
exciting. You know, so sometimes the community risk reduction, that's gonna be a position you've got to fill. So inspector to be able to invest those, and to do all the inspections and to document that. It's gonna be, the latter stuff is that station present, where it should be, but we don't have the manpower to man it, and that's the problem. We could put some people on the ladder, just have 2 dollars, and so south of the village. But then you run into a problem. It's always a big thing. The deployment analysis, for example, with Station 2 being out of service, how many road miles are we from the furthest point, from Station 1 to Station 3 to, our furthest point, which is gonna be on the point, because I figured it out on Google Maps, and it's a little over 2 miles. And so we're not beating that mile and a half threshold, they want for the deployment.
So do they not do time anymore? 6 minutes response?
I guess they look into that, because they look at our report systems, and everything, and, so I'm not sure how they do all that.
Okay.
But I just know from what we got from the rating area, that's what he gave us is what I went by. So,
Did he also give you areas where we can close these gaps besides that?
yes, he said, get a fire inspector, a training officer, and hire somebody. And do better at your training documentation. He said, I know you're training. He said, because I've seen it whenever I pass by, or, and we were doing training whenever he showed up. We didn't know he was showing up, and we did training. So, we do training. We didn't have to document. That would definitely be fixed. That's something we can do. But hiring anybody is obviously not in our realm of, possibility. That's no. Community risk reduction, all that hinges upon getting the fire inspector and getting him to do all these programs to enforce the fire code and all that sort of thing. So, and I know it's a tough decision. I trust me, I know. But I just don't know. I don't know how to say it.
Chief, I got a quick question.
Yes, sir.
Didn't you say previously that we had lost, not previously today, but in our conversation during the last promotion, that we had lost 2 lieutenant spots?
Yes, sir.
Can we just replace the positions 1 for 1 in firefighter positions and then work on getting that 3rd person? Or is that not an option?
Well, right now, we just had 2 turn in. We're going to be 6 short. We have 2 that are going to go out this week, or 1, and then we have 2 more that are going out on the 18th. That'll be last day. So we're going to be 6 short, 6 firefighters short. We are in the process of trying to hire 3 more, and 2 of those are 3. So even if we wanted to increase personnel, I'm not sure that we're going to be able to. Can try, and I can reach out and I can try, but it's gonna be tough. We have one going to, Chickasaw, Chickasaw,
Chickasaw.
yeah, Chickasaw. In Alabama, we have one going to Laurel. And, they all have pay scales, they have pay rates, and that's what is alluring these away from our departments. You know, and I know y'all don't want to hear it, but I'm gonna tell you again, they need a raise. I don't know what the hell else to put it. That's the only way we're gonna keep people. We've lost.
I understand where we're going with all of this. It's fine. My only question is all about these numbers right now. So I know the plight, and we've been trying to work on the plight of keeping and retaining what we have for as firefighters. The allure is out there. Because there's always something going to be greener on that other side. But the thing I'm trying to get at is like in this fire department, if let's say in the section called fire department, we have a 0.17, and that's on 4. They say the maximum is 4, and we got a 0.17. I'm trying to close these gaps, and that has everything to do with the credit for ladder service. So explain to me, what is ladder service? Is that our extension ladders being tested, or ladder truck?
Yes.
Okay.
That is a fully staffed ladder truck. If we had 4 personnel,
That would give us that full amount, that maximum credit.
we had 4 personnel, 2 ladder trucks, one at Station 2 and one at Station 4.
Okay.
Because we have some high risk buildings along Main Street.
Okay.
Zachary building being one of them. If we had a fully staffed operational truck, that would mean 2 ladder trucks, 8 personnel, then we may get to about 4.
Okay. All right. So that's what I'm trying to get clear on, is just trying to see, and the same thing about section review for training facilities and their use further down, and we got a 0.25, and I think the maximum is 9.
They consider live burn facilities,
Okay.
and any other training facilities that we have. We have a training room. I think that's what we got, a 0.25. That's my best guess.
Because we do have a training room, we got that piece of a point.
I think so, yes.
All right, but so we used to have like Christmas trees and all that kind of live burn type things, and practice on cars and all that other stuff. So to set up those particular stagings, I don't know, does anybody have, well, of course, probably Gulfport and all these folks have those particular dedicated facilities for that, but look, I'm just trying to rationale how to close. Yeah.
It does look like you get more bang for the buck by addressing the training position and all the stuff around training. I mean, 9 points, eligible for up to 9 points. Am I understanding that right? That's what I just saw.
But that's,
If you checked all their boxes for training, including the personnel, the position. So let me ask you, we've talked about, and you and I have discussed this, and we all have, but 2 scenarios. We talked about the rank structure, the new rank structure, to get that in place to help stop the bleeding, to help, because that's why people are leaving. I think we talked about this. So our initial pay is pretty competitive, but there's no advancement. They don't see that upward mobility, if you want to call it that. So then when that opportunity to go up, to transfer and go up somewhere else, that's when they bolt and go somewhere else. Where if we had that path here, maybe we could keep
Yes, sir.
stop the bleeding and keep them here. So should our focus be on that approach and maybe address the training? You know, we want to support you guys, but we want to do what's best for everybody and what we can actually achieve.
Yeah.
But y'all had came back on the first rank, I'm gonna call it rank structure, proposal was about, I think, 215,000 increase to implement that was the Cadillac version, I think, that Chief Davis had presented. And then y'all brought it back and trimmed it down to, it was 50-something thousand per year to implement a mediated version, I guess you call it that. So I wonder if that's something, and since we're just having discussion today, I don't think there's going to be any decisions made, but just something for everybody to chew on. Because we want to try to work this out. Do we try to maybe go that path and try to get that rank structure in, or a version of it, and maybe focus on the training position? And I like what Alderman Dubose is saying, look for all these other, I'm gonna call it low hanging fruit. Don't know how low hanging it is, but it's other things that we can get points for.
Right. I'm with you 100%. And that's something that in the next 8 months before they give us another audit, that's something that I was going to dive into, such as hydrant spacing. I was going to look and see where our hydrant spacing deficits are. We may have way too much space in between hydrants. We may need to add one here. We may need to add one over here, and we'll be good for that area. There are some areas where they may need a lot more, but when I get time to through the next 8 months is to go through here and address and see where we land on all that stuff.
So that approach, Mayor, would basically seek to fill all the holes we have as far as people, the vacancies, from people just leaving, plus add the training and inspector person, plus do these other things.
Right.
But that would fall short of getting us back to 9. It would basically mean, hey, can we just get to where we can maintain what we have and stop losing folks?
We've lost 10 people.
Right.
Since September.
And then how to maybe give us a place to start from to maybe eventually add, especially if you get the grant.
Yes.
That's a couple more people.
Till September to try to.
Yeah.
So
Just something to chew on. I don't know.
The reason why they have left is one of our lieutenants, well, several of our lieutenants have gone to Pascagoula. Well, their hiring pay is compares to ours. But they have levels, and they have pay scales, and they have incentives. They get paid to be EMT. They have kettle days. They have all these, and they have pay scales. So if you get to all these certifications and you get up to level 7, then you're making $10,000 more than what he was making here in Ball Point as a lieutenant. And that's what is taking our guys away. Jackson County, Ocean Springs, Yoshea, every one of them has a pay scale.
So basically, most people that are leaving, they're leaving and getting a promotion somewhere.
That's correct. All 10 of them went to another fireman.
So in other words, every level they go to, they get a pay raise.
Yes, yes. Cost of living raises, certifications, all that sort of.
how many people do you have on that eligibility list for new hire?
We have 3 on this process of getting background checks.
Okay, so then you'll have to, well, it's always open, just like the police department. So, you're just waiting to get enough to test and to do the agility, and then interviews, and then hire.
Yes, ma'am. So we'll, after our student leave in on the 18th, we will be 3 short with nobody on the list. We have 3 that we need to hire right now, and they're going through the background checks. They're ready to come over. But then after that, unless we have somebody that applies in the meantime, that we don't have anybody on the list at this time.
Ask you a question, Chief, Mayor, if it's okay. The letter from obviously the State Rating Bureau was dated April 1st, and the Mayor had mentioned getting an extension. When is the plan to address these deficiencies? June. from us?
So he gave us 30 days from April 1st. We did not meet that deadline. I called him and asked him if he would give us another 30 days, which would have been throughout the month of May. Ms. Tricia asked me if I would ask him if we could get another 30 days. And I called him again, and he was actually at a conference, Mr. Richard Watkins from the Rate Bureau. He was at a conference in Biloxi, and he wasn't too happy with me for asking him again. But he agreed to give us some time. He didn't say he would give us 30 days. He said, I'll agree to give you some time, more time. So I'm not real sure. So I think, probably a couple more weeks, probably okay.
And what you're asking the board to do is to submit a plan of action.
That's correct.
That some of which would not be immediate, but be over time.
That's correct. Something I can tell him at the Rate Bureau that we plan on doing this and this. And one of those is we plan on doing this with training. We plan on doing this with the hydrants. But I couldn't plan on anything else or going to make a decision about. I couldn't tell him we're going to plan on getting a fire inspector or fire district, or we're going to hire so many amount of people, or whatever the case is. That's beyond my decision. I couldn't just make that up. Yeah.
Okay, so this is why we asked the consultants. We know how much time we got. The chief, and I don't want you to have to call any more time either. We've been doing this long enough that we should have been dealing with this. So we asked the consultants to be so you can help us understand what it is required of the city to reach this requirement based on the marshal. And so now we know what is necessary. So the whole idea is the board have to decide what are we willing to commit to plan to do in order to keep our fire department at a rating that we can live with. So we have to be to make a commitment here and work towards that. Financial consultants have to tell them what we can actually afford. If that's nothing, then that's what chief got to put it in plan. We don't plan to do anything.
Yes. And then my response to that would be, here's what I will do as interim fire chief or fire chief to do this. Or if we get another fire chief, I would express to him that this is what we need to do. As far as the fire department side.
So the whole idea here is to at least develop a plan that we can work towards getting these things done. That's what the fire marshal wants us to know. What is the plan are we willing to put together to say, these are the things that we're working towards doing? That's all they actually do is give them a plan. That's what we plan to do going forward. And we have to honestly work towards getting these things done.
Yes.
And we have to put things in place to make it happen. And we know most of it is time to money, but some of the goals that Alderman Dubose and talking about and Alderman Leonard was talking about tied to personnel. Some of these things can't be done because you need personnel to do them. If you got the personnel, then some of these gaps that we got can be closed. Now, those things that can be done without additional personnel, we ought to start working on those things. And I think you're doing that, right? But some of these things require additional personnel in order to get them done, to change these numbers. So we have to try to figure out how we're going to get these personnel to do it. It all boils down, the bottom line, it boils down to personnel. And we have to determine how we can afford to make that happen. Finance consultants, can you help us talk about that?
I will begin by, we need cost estimates though on everything. I need a cost estimate on what it would take to get the water supply that he needs. I need a cost estimate on what is the increase in insurance between a rating of 5 versus a rating of 6. And chief, don't take this the wrong way, because I want you to have all the firefighters that you want and need. But if the increase in insurance is only $50,000 and we all sit on our hands, y'all need to know that we're only looking at an increase of $50,000 as opposed to do this entire laundry list of what they would like us to do might cost $500,000. There needs to be some cost benefit analysis. We need to know what the difference in insurance would be from going from a rating of 5 to 6. We need to know what it would cost to put in the additional hydrants that you need. I need to know if you fill all your vacant positions, which obviously your vacant positions that you've lost this year that you haven't filled are budgeted. Are we still looking for 4 additional people if all those spots are filled? If a training officer isn't quote necessary, but the documentation is, then from a layman, that doesn't seem to be that cost, that doesn't seem like it would cost that much more. But we need to know all that. But I can tell you right now, to give you the Cadillac of this report, Moss Point can't afford it. Can Moss Point probably afford 1 more firefighter if you get the grant to cover 2 more? Yeah, I think Moss Point can do that without increasing taxes. But that's why I was asking, does the ladder truck physically drive? Does it work? Does the ladder go up or not? Or is it the personnel you need to operate the ladder truck? But we need those costs, because like I said, it's not fair to tell the board y'all need to go hire 4 more people at the cost of maybe $250,000 and then do all this other stuff, let's say for another $250,000. And I'm making up numbers because I have no clue how much it costs to put a hydrant in the ground. But let's say $500,000, but your increase in insurance may only be $50,000 a year. Y'all need to know that is the decision in front of you. $50,000 more in insurance or $500,000 more in expenditures, some of which might be a one-time thing and some would be recurring, like personnel. But we need to know those costs.
Mayor.
Yes.
And I may need to be educated on this, but I think we need to clarify about the cost of insurance. When we talk about the cost of insurance, we're talking about the insurance rates of our citizens going up, not the cost of insurance to the city. So what I've questioned is, would that, if you go to a 6 or to, what's the number we're talking about going to?
6.
A 6. And our insurance rates around the city to our citizens go up more than the tax increase it would require to do everything we want to do. So those are the things we need to weigh out.
Correct. And I apologize because I lumped it some, as in just, I'm lumping some numbers together. So I apologize that it made it sound like it was just a $50,000 blanket. You are correct. But
Yeah, it wasn't, it's not an impact to the city budget. It was an impact.
Correct.
Okay.
But if the impact, like I said, I'm making stuff up because I don't know how much it costs to put in a hydrant. You know what I'm saying? But if the average increase to a homeowner might be $10 a year, and like I said, I'm making stuff up. I don't know what it's going to be. Y'all, in my opinion, I think that needs to be an assessment that needs to be made to the board. That yes, we're looking at maybe the average increase to a homeowner might be whatever X dollars a year, yet the city would have to outlay this many dollars. I think that's apples and apples in a fair assessment.
Excuse me, Chief, I just Googled the difference between 5 and 6 insurance rating for the state of Mississippi, for the state of Mississippi. And Google said it's relatively small, usually representing a 5 to 8% change in the fire insurance premium. So we're going to be looking at between 5 and 8% on the insurance premiums per citizen. And I think that's exactly what, Ms. Christie was talking about. It's gonna be worth. I mean, our citizens just might have to dig in. Everybody tired of paying more money. But if it's gonna cost $10 on your policy, you know, we may have to work through that. You know, that's my point.
No, precisely, that's my point. And, you know, because then the alternative is we have to turn around and do a tax increase, which costs everyone more money. And so I think I think we need to know all these numbers, you know, and someone said low hanging fruit. And of course, I'm sure it's not low hanging fruit for the chief. So I apologize. But I mean, if it costs $20,000 to fix the hydrant, your water supply issue, that's probably well worth spending $20,000, right? But we need some cost. I mean, we know we know the personnel. It's all the other stuff we don't know.
Well, here's from my perspective. It's up to y'all if y'all want to go to the class. It's not up to me. That's up to y'all. I'll do everything in my power that I can do in the fire department. But anything else that y'all don't have to make the decision. Also, something else that nobody else is considering is the safety aspect as well. You know, to me, it's not just that now, this meeting is about the fire rate bureau and going up to class 6. We also have to look at the safety standpoint as of having 6 firefighters on a structure fire versus having 9 makes a huge difference. But having said that, it is totally up to y'all on what y'all want to have as a city. If y'all want to go to a class 6, then we can go to a class 6. That's not my business. That's y'all's decision. But I would think that if I were a business wanting to come into a city, that Ocean Springs is a class 4, they would say, you know what, I'm going to Ocean Springs because they have class 4 insurance is less. So that's my perspective of it. And that's the way I feel about it. I'm here to serve at y'all's pleasure. I'll tell people what y'all want to do. And
Chief, I'm gonna say everything that you've asked for, I agree. We need to do everything.
Right.
It's our job to prioritize what we can do and what we should do first. But I totally agree with you. Every single thing on that list, we need it all.
I know money doesn't grow on trees.
That's true.
Well, then you can't get blood out of a turnip.
That's right.
I understand.
And chief, please do not take my comments as being against you and what you want to do. I'm being paid to be devil's advocate.
Right. I know you're punching at numbers and I'm looking at safety. So I think that's the difference there. But I understand.
Chief,
Yes, sir.
hey, Mr. Mayor, I think to like what Sylvester said and the young lady is saying about, we just got to dig in. We got to do what we got to do to make this city safe. And me, myself, I'm for it. To do what we got to do. There's gonna be some rumbles, but we got to dig in to be competitive. And that's the way I feel about it. See, like you said, it probably, even if we had to raise taxes, it probably won't be but $10 more. Come on. Let's do what we got to do. That's my perception.
Yeah,
Just to clarify, if you did a tax increase this year, it still would not generate enough money to take care of this want list.
Mayor, I noticed in the packet, you have the letter from the rating bureau, but you also have your analysis and response to the 13 points. And so is this the beginning of the response to the rating bureau?
No, sir, that was entirely to the city.
That was it, okay,
For yours.
okay.
Right. I haven't written anything to the rating bureau.
Okay. Well, I think number one, we need to do that. We need to start drafting a plan for these 13 items.
Yeah.
And I can help you write that.
Okay.
If you want to put it in your words, and you may have to communicate with Clearwater. I don't see Russell or anybody from Clearwater, but you may have to, like the fire hydrant issues. I like your response to number two that we have been working with Clearwater to resolve any issues, and I know they have been working hard and many have been fixed, talking about the fire hydrant. So as we look at there are a lot of, like Alderman DeBose mentioned, there are a lot of these that are dealing with water distribution system that we can communicate, and we can capture that in paragraph form to respond to these bullet points. And then, of course, budgetary aspect of it, we will need to quantify that with the help of our financial consultant, city clerk, to say, long term, this is where we hope to go in the short term. These are the things we're doing now. This is our plan of action, because in order to maintain hopefully that 5, but we'll probably need to do this sooner rather than later. But I'll be happy to help you with that.
That'd be fine. I appreciate that.
Yes.
My letter to Mr. Watkins with the rating bureau it should be made, because I don't want to promise him too much. I want to be able to tell him we are looking into that and we're going to research this. So a lot of that will be research. I can even put in a research adding 3 more people. Doesn't say that are going to do it, but I can't put that unless somebody tells me that that's what you're.
But we could also add, like, so once you submit the application for the grant, you can put that in to your response that, the city is maybe looking into adding to our budget an additional person, but in addition to that, we've applied for this grant that may give us additional personnel. And here's a copy of our submission of the application to that. So they'll know we're not just talking, we've applied for this. And this is something that we're working toward, without saying and committing to, from the general fund, saying that we're hiring 3 new people. If we can commit to 1 or look at the budget to see if we can commit to 1. And then maybe if we get 2, if we can get 2 through the grant, which we've applied for, we're waiting for an award if we get it. So this is our way of trying to fix that personnel problem. Maybe that's something, that we can look into answering that way.
Chief, what we'll do is, we'll get with you, and the judge and I will get with you. And we'll also be communicating with our finance people, and we'll work with you to come up with a plan, and we'll present the plan to the board. Let them know what we're coming with, so we can meet this deadline that you're working with.
Yeah.
So we'll get with you this week or next week to do that. We've got a couple weeks, right? To think we got a couple weeks. So we'll get with you and work with you to work with the plan, and work with the finance department, see what we can financially come up with as well.
Okay.
To address the personnel issue.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for what you're doing. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Okay. What's to adjourn? The motion, Alderman Arnold to adjourn, second.
Yes.
Go ahead, what's that?
Just
Justin. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
He's right.
That's Mr. Bradford. He's been on the call.
Okay.